Welcome to the first Little GP Tracker tutorial video. Throughout our sessions, we'll examine the different aspects of the software. When you start the program, the first thing you see is the project selection screen. From this screen, you can select what project you would like to work on or create a new one. All projects are folders, starting with the 4 LGBT letters. The installation archive contains 2 projects, one with an existing song called 10K and an empty one called New. Let's start by loading the 10K project. Use the up and down arrow to highlight the project and press A to load it. After loading the project, you will be transported on the song screen. The song screen is where you organize your pattern into songs. Since Little GP Tracker is, well, a tracker, it uses a vertical timeline. Horizontally, you got 1 column per channel, and vertically is the sequence of patterns, or chains, as we will call them, played in each channel. To play the song, simply press the start button. Press start again to stop it. You can navigate up, down, left, right and press start to play the song from the current cursor position. Notice that only the channels with chains on them are started. Empty slots, represented by a double dash, are not played at startup. As we mentioned earlier, Little GP Tracker is organized around a set of screens. Screens are organized in a map-like fashion. That is to say that one screen is on top or to the left of another one. If you take a look at the left side of the display, you will see a rectangle with letters in it. This rectangle is the screen map representation, and currently the S letter is highlighted because we are in the song screen. To navigate to another screen, simply press the right shoulder button and hit the direction in which you would like to go. For example, the project screen, the letter P in the screen map, is above the song screen. So to go to the project screen, we simply hit the right shoulder button and the up direction. To go back to the song screen from the project screen, we do the opposite and hit right shoulder and down. The project screen is where you can change the song's tempo and manage your project. You can save your current song, load a new one, or exit the program. To trigger any entry, simply highlight it using the arrows and hit A. For example, saving the current song. Or go back to the project list to load another project. There are 2 major differences between Little GP Tracker and conventional trackers. The first difference is that a pattern does not include note data across all channels. For each step in the song screen, each channel has its own chain number, containing data for that channel exclusively. This makes it convenient if you want to reuse a drum pattern, for example, but want to alter the melody. All you need is to copy the drum chain a couple of times and create new ones for the melody. It makes building song structure a lot easier. As you can see, each chain is represented by an hexadecimal number from 00 to FF. The second difference is that a chain doesn't contain directly note data. Rather, it will hold a collection of sub-patterns, called phrases, that will contain note data. The chain can be seen as a bigger block of notes that makes sense repeating in the song. For example, it could be a drum pattern, with the fill at the end repeating across the song. Let's look at an example and examine chain 0E. As you can see, it is repeated 4 times because it's a repeating block at that stage of the song. As we learned in the previous chapter, Little GP Tracker is organized around a series of map-like screens. The chain screen, where you edit chain content, is located to the right of the song screen. To navigate to the chain screen, you need to be on a non-empty slot and hit the right shoulder button and the right arrow direction. As we mentioned earlier, The chain is a collection of phrases, in this case, 4, that will be played one after the other sequentially. To see the content of a phrase, highlight it using the up and down button and press again right shoulder and the right direction, since the phrase screen is located to the right of the chain screen. As you can see now, the phrases contain the note data. If you press play while being in the phrase screen, you will hear that phrase going over and over. You can also go back to the chain screen and press start there. All of the phrases of that chain will be played sequentially, allowing you to hear the whole block. If you want to start the whole song from the last cursor position while being in either chain or phrase screen, simply hit right shoulder and start simultaneously. Let's now learn to create new material. Let's go to the end of the song and position ourselves on an empty slot. To create a new empty chain, tap twice the A button. This will fill the slot with the first empty chain number. We can now enter the chain and create a new phrase using the same principle, hitting A twice, and enter the empty phrase. To enter a note, simply press A in the first row of dashes. This will enter a note, C3, and associate it to an instrument. The instrument is the number right next to the note. In this case 0. Editing values in Little GP Tracker uses always the same principle. Simply go to the item you would like to change and hit the A button and the arrows simultaneously. Using A and right will increment the value, A and left will decrement it, up and down will increase or decrease the value in bigger chunk. For example, changing the note by hitting twice A and right will change it to D3. Hitting now A and up will change the note one octave up to D4. The same can be done on the instrument field to change the instrument, by increment of 1, using left and right, or by increment of 10, using up and down. To delete a note, press simultaneously A and B. This is also something that will be used across the whole software. Once your phrase is completed, you can go back to the chain and add a new one. Enter a new set of notes, and so on, until you are happy with it. Then you might want to go back to the song screen and create a new chain, either under the existing one, if it is a continuation of the sequence, or next to it if you are planning on doing a new layer in the arrangement. In previous lessons, we've seen that we could use a single tap on A to add an item, a double tap on A to create the first empty instance of a chain or phrase, and A plus B simultaneously to delete the highlighted items. On top of those very basic editing features, Little GP Tracker also supports regular copy-paste functions, allowing for more powerful edits. The basic maneuver is to create a selection. To do so, go to the beginning of the block to select and press simultaneously the left shoulder and B button. Now extend the block using the arrows. Once the block has been defined, you have the choice to either copy it by pressing B or to cut it by pressing simultaneously the left shoulder button and A. No matter if you chose to copy or cut the data, it will be put in the clipboard and can be pasted using left shoulder and A. This process works in most of the editing screen. Let's for example go in a chain, select the two first phrases and copy them in position 3 and 4. Start the selection with the left shoulder and B, extend the selection and press B again to copy it. Now move to step 3 and press the left shoulder and A to paste the data. Let's now enter a phrase, do a selection and cut its content by pressing left shoulder and A, and paste it somewhere else by pressing left shoulder and A again. If you want to cut a single element, you can always use A and B simultaneously. The single element will also be put in the clipboard for easy pasting somewhere else. Let's go back to the song screen, and let's cut the 4 chains here. Now let's paste them here. Note that cutting in the song screen will shift all the row underneath the selection upwards, while pasting them will shift them down. The last operation related to editing is the process of cloning. Cloning is a powerful way to create a new element that is a copy of another. It's very handy to start from an existing base and alter it. You can clone chains, phrase, instruments and tables. If we go and change 0 to we see it plays phrases A to B2. In our argument we would like to use a similar structure but change the ending chain. Let's first listen to this chain. Now we go back to the song screen, copy the chain and paste it underneath. To clone the chain, hold down the left shoulder and press B, then A, holding the left shoulder pressed. We have now created a new chain, but its content is the same as the original one. Since we wanted to alter the last phrase, we got down to the 4th step and clone it. Again, we made a fresh copy of the original phrase that we can now alter to our will. The new chain sounds now like this.